When I'm dead, remember, I once laughed till I limped, cracked jokes like they were windows, and let the cold truth trickle in. I stitched pain into punchlines, acted silly just to stay sane, spoke softly with steel in my spine, swear words in my veins. I wasn't always vain, but I tried to be real. Didn't always heal, but I had space to feel. If I left you with silence, it wasn't a wall, it was just me finding the words to say nothing at all. Remember me wrong, remember me rude, remember the days I was distant and cruel. I was never a saint, I was stubborn as sin, but I showed up when it mattered, with a wink and a grin. When I'm dead, remember the way I hated goodbye would vanish mid-chat, just to sidestep the cries. I'd walk off alone, boots full of bleach, searching for shells of old thoughts I couldn't quite reach. I wasn't built for farewells or fame, just flickers of kindness without shouting my name. If you felt heard when we spoke, that was me, laying bricks out of bruises where walls used to be. Remember me, Dad, remember me deep, remember the secrets I struggled to keep. I wasn't wide open, but I wasn't close tight. I just filtered my feelings through rhythm and light. I'm dead, remember that I felt too much. I read silence like stories and sorrow like touch. Had a mouth full of questions, a past full of noise, but I still found the music in my messed up choice. I stood still in the storm, not because I was strong, but the wind had a wisdom I'd witnessed for so long. If you saw me as solid, well that's partly true, but most days I was floating just to get through. If you remember me at all, remember the cracks, the places I broke so you didn't collapse. I didn't fix much, but I noticed the breaks, and I sat with your silence for both of our sakes. I never showed in a crowd, the pride I tucked in, the shame I spoke loud. Remember I flinched when you praised me too much, and I shook when you hugged me, but lean into the touch. Remember me blunt, remember me bored, remember I swore I was done being ignored, but remember I listened with all that I had, even when angry, even when sad. And if you forget me, then make it complete. Forget all of it, not just the parts that were neat. Remember me real, remember me raw, a foot in the gutter, a hand on the door. I wasn't quite holy, but I held space for grace. So if you remember, remember the place where we sat in the moment, without masks, without names, and lit up the dark with our separate flames. Remember me real, remember me raw. A foot in the gutter, a hand on the door. I wasn't quite holy, but I held space for grace. So if you remember, remember the place where we sat in the moment, without masks, without names, and lit up the dark with our separate flames.